I'm here to talk with you about how to pivot your business. We're going to do it by talking through how I'm pivoting our business in 2026. And along the way, I'm going to give you 5 big tips on how to safely and confidently pivot your business. Because the reality of it is, pivoting your business, making changes is scary. It's a big deal. But 50% of small to medium businesses will close in their first 5 years. They fail. So if you're not willing to make changes when the right time comes, it's going to be a problem for you. So here am I running Slick Business. We are 4 years in and it is pivot time. And I'm going to share with you tips as I'm telling you the story of what we're changing and why that's great for our audience so that it will help you when you come to do your pivot. Now, I've spent the last 4 years developing my business as a speciality niched business where we not only teach about email, we teach it very specifically for people who use the Active Campaign platform. It's been such a strong niche for us that I literally have a mini me with the flag and a plushy Active Campaign on my shelf behind me. But I want you to know that it's okay to make changes in your business. So here's the story of what's happening with us with some tips as we go along the way. And here's tip number 1. The story of pivoting your business starts with watching the landscape in which you do business. If you have gone to the trouble of creating a business, you are going to know the industry and the landscape in which you're working very intimately. Every pivot starts with awareness of what's happening in that landscape. And you've got to trust yourself to interpret what you're seeing unfolding in your industry. So in my industry of email tech right now, compared to when we started 4 years ago with the Active Campaign Academy and that being our strong niche, new email tech platforms have arrived. Go High Level has arrived. Kit has improved. MailChimp has massively improved what it's doing. We've got lots of new platforms coming onto the market. Alongside that, the existing platforms have been changing their features and changing their prices. And as a whole, we're seeing a lot more movement from one tech tool to another. People have got better at migrating their email and automation needs from one platform to another. And then on top of that, we've got the AI explosion happening, which is disrupting literally everything, not just in email and automation tech, but all tech and across all of our business operations, systems, strategic thinking. Everything's changing with AI. That's a lot of change. So I've been watching that landscape, trusting my knowledge of that landscape, and starting to think about what's changing. So my question for you right now is the landscape of your business environment changing at the moment? Has it been changing for a while? Are you feeling secretly a little bit uncomfortable about where things are headed? Because if you are, that is your signal to watch what's happening. Trust yourself to have that knowledge to absorb what's happening and don't go into denial. Okay. No denial. And when you've seen things starting to shift, this is where you need to ask some questions and reflect on the answers that come back to you, because there are 2 things that can go wrong at this point. You've seen the world is changing around you, thinking, I might have to change things here. 2 things can go wrong. Number 1, you can be too hasty. You can change too quickly, jump on the bandwagon, and then find yourself marooned in a thing that doesn't develop. Go talk to the people who developed Betamax, and that tells a story all of its own. You'll know there are lots of businesses that have gone down dead-end roads by being too hasty when the landscape is changing. But at the opposite end of the scale, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is me, you can be too stubborn. You can take too long to make changes when the landscape around you has shifted. So you need to be open to asking questions, reflecting on it. Don't be too hasty, but also don't be too stick in the mud. You've got to find the middle ground there somewhere. Now, it starts with your customers, people you're actually serving already. And I can tell you that the changes that have been happening in the tech landscape, I've been hearing about them from my customers. So it was important for us to lean into that, ask them questions and listen to what they are telling you. Because remember, a customer you already have is worth more to you than a customer you are going to recruit in the future. Alongside that, if you're going to industry conferences, that's a great place to keep your ear to the ground, or events where your future customers are. Talk to people, listen to them, and reflect on what that means for the future of your business, because you've seen some signs of change. If you don't listen to them at this point, that's the buried the head in the sand moment where you're being too stubborn. Also, tune into any industry experts or strategists you have in your networks. So I've been talking to Andrew and Pete from Atomic. I've talked to Pat Flynn in the SPI memberships. I've talked to Mike Morrison, who's an expert in the memberships industry. Seek advice from your trusted experts in your industry from your future customers, your current customers, and also from your peers, the business people who operate in the same areas of you. See what they're thinking and feeling, because it can feel a bit safer to make changes if you know that it's not just you who's seeing this, you're not imagining it, it's a real thing. The information that comes back to you when you're asking, reflecting, and listening is so critical to where you're going to take your business. So over the last 2 years, we've been listening very closely to our existing customers, peer groups, advisors, and so on. We're hearing a lot about other email platforms like Kit, MailerLite, Go High Level. We've also been answering questions that all the way along, even while we've been super focused on just ActiveCampaign as our email tech platform of choice, we have always had questions about other tech platforms. So we've helped people with Xero for their accounting and how to hook it up to their email tech. We've helped people with WP Fusion on their websites. We've helped people set up Calendly and Acuity, other form services providers. We've helped people connect their learner management systems like Lifter LMS. This whole time, we've had conversations going on around strategy and integration with other platforms. By the way, if you're interested at all in getting better at managing that whole tech ecosystem, because it's not just your email tech, subscribe to this channel right now. We are going to be doing more content on these things. I'm excited for you. We're going to be helping you with all the surrounding ecosystem of tech. Now, this brings me on to big tip number 3, which is to run a survey of your audience in any capacity. Social media, email list, networks, all of it. You need to know now, what do they really think? Because you need to find the overlap between what your audience wants and is willing to pay for and what you know and can deliver to them. Imagine that's 2 big loops. The overlap in the middle, that's where your pivot vision should focus. And unless you know what your audience wants, which you find out by surveying them, you're not going to be able to make informed strategic decisions about where to take your business next. So testing out some hypotheses, some hunches, some ideas, some visions. Ask your audience, is this something you want and are willing to buy from me? Now, our survey that we ran towards the end of 2025, we found that despite our relentless focus on ActiveCampaign as our email platform, almost a third of our existing audience are not ActiveCampaign users. That's a big chunk of our audience who, if we stay in our current model, can't buy from us because our messaging is completely targeted at people who use the ActiveCampaign platform. A third of our audience don't use that platform. So it's like we've been slamming the door shut in their face this whole time. We also found out as part of this survey that there were several big areas where the people who loved what we do really wanted more help with some things that currently we touch on now and again, but we weren't really messaging about it or offering content or services on those things. We found that people wanted a lot more help with writing email and with choosing the right tech tools to be able to run your business ecosystem, hook it all up together and get it talking to each other. Our audience is telling us very clearly, we want you to help us choose the right tech. Okay, noted. We also asked some open questions like, what else do you want help with? And the big ones that came back were more help with strategy for growing your business, using email and automation tech, but not just about where are the buttons on this? How do you make strategic decisions that will work well for your business? And also, how do we cope with AI? How do we keep up with it? What decisions should we be making? Should we be selling AI products? Should we be using AI products? So for our audience, it's never just been about the buttons to push in the tech. But I've been pretty stubborn, and all our marketing and messaging has stuck firmly to, we will help you use this one piece of tech. But when we looked at the survey, that doesn't really make sense with the audience that we've managed to acquire. So just ask yourself the question right now, when did you last survey the customers and audience of the business you're currently serving? When did you last do that? If it's more than a year, you should definitely be running another survey soon. Now, you've done your survey. You're ready to make changes. I'm going to pause there to tell you about the changes that Slick Business is making. Now, we've gone through this process of watching the landscape, seeing changes coming, asking questions, seeking advice, reflecting on that, surveying our audience. What are we changing? Okay. And I don't know if you've seen, here's this sitting on my shelf behind me. You may have noticed the ActiveCampaign Fluffy, but this is the MailChimp monkey. And the reason the MailChimp monkey is joining us on the shelf, and I hope many others will be there soon, is that we are moving to be platform agnostic in Slick Business. Instead of just serving people who use the ActiveCampaign platform, we are going to throw open the doors, finally, hallelujah, at last, so that we welcome in people who are using Kit, MailerLite, High Level, Klaviyo, MailChimp, Fluent CRM, Groundhog. We've got HubSpot in there. All of these platforms are completely valid choices for what you should use to send your emails. And I've been saying for years that the right email platform for you is the one that you will use to actually send emails. So now I'm going to put our business where my mouth is. So instead of being the Active Campaign Academy, we're going to be the Slick Business Academy. It's a rename. So we have a reframe to go along with that. The easy framework, it actually is the same framework we used back in 2019 when I first launched as the Active Campaign Academy. So it's very true to our values. Effective email that actually gets sent, automated systems to support you on the routine stuff, strategy that will help support decisions that will grow your business, and all pitched so that it works for you and your team, your budget, your skills, your inclinations, your likes and dislikes. The easy framework is what makes a slick business. We'll still be expert in Active Campaign, but we're going to reposition our messaging so that we're no longer just restricting it to Active Campaign users alone. We are opening the doors to other people as well. And I'm very excited about that. Goodness knows people have been asking me for a very long time to do that. And yeah, here we go. I'm finally caved. And I know a lot of people will be very happy about that. So let's go back to our big tips for pivoting. We've watched the landscape, done some reflection, asked for advice, run a survey. Okay, now we've decided on the change. What do you do next? You have to communicate that change to your people. And that's what this video is partly about. This video is going out to my audience as part of our change management. It's super important to bring your people along with you. So it's your customers, potential customers, it's your partners, peers in the industry, advisors, people who've helped you over the years, your affiliates. Change management requires lots of communication, which means it's going to take some time. As I'm recording this video, we are in the midst of communicating with our audience that the Active Campaign Academy is changing name to become the Slick Business Academy, that we are moving from offering only Active Campaign users our services to offering our services to users of any email platform, that we're moving to the easy framework, email automation, strategy, and you. And we're communicating those three things repeatedly because nobody reads every email I send. Nobody sees every post I put out. And it's the same for your business. So you have to repeat that messaging lots. That's the communication bit. And that whole time you need to listen to the feedback that you're being given, because the things that you hear now might be very valuable to tweak what you're planning to do in a way that's going to make it better for everybody involved. So do it with an open mind. You've made a decision, yes, but you haven't come down on the exact form that's going to take. The final tip I have for you as part of the change when you pivot your business is to share the load. And this is the part we're stepping into right now, the bit where we've got to do a lot of the actual changes. There are a lot of big jobs to do in there. We've got to change our messaging over everything in Slick Business. It's not as simple as just putting another mascot on the shelf. Every page on our website messages very strongly that we are exclusively for Active Campaign users. So we now need to go and change all of that stuff. And in a way, it's a bit of a trap, because the better your messaging has been, the stronger you have been at communicating exactly what you do, who you serve, what you sell, and how it will benefit them, the more work you're going to have to do when you change that. But here's what's going to support you when you choose to do it with intention and excitement. Document everything in your world ruthlessly. This is something I teach in the academy a lot. You need a kind of a catalogue of your business. It can't live in here. If you want to be able to delegate and get support from team members, partners, from temporary hires to help you move your business in a particular direction, you are going to need to have a map of your business. For me, that mostly comes in the form of a catalogue of business assets, your web pages, blog posts, social networks, lessons, products, your partners, anything like that. There should be a list of it somewhere, where it is, what it's called, and what it's connected to. That one thing will enable you to share the load by hiring in help, by pointing your team to go do some tasks for you, by asking partners or affiliates to help you with certain things where you know they've got strength. You can call in some favors if you've got really strong business relationships. This is where they're really going to pay off. But you can't really do it if you haven't documented your business. If your whole business lives in here, any change is going to be so, so, so much harder for you. So document your business sooner rather than later, because then you'll be ready when you get to the point of choosing to make changes. Your business is going to be ready for it. And that's exciting because then you can put more of your energy into getting people along for the ride, to get your cheerleaders on side, to get your affiliates excited about the new course that's coming out in January for Slick Business. You've got more energy to do those things if you've taken better care of the routine work that needs doing by keeping a record of your business assets so that you can find them and work your way through them methodically to make the changes. On which note, I would love to have some encouragement. Show up in the comments and tell me that you're excited about having someone as talented as me here to teach you how to use your email tech better and how to use that surrounding tech ecosystem more strongly, more strategically to grow your business in a way that really works for you and your team, because that's what we're doing in the Slick Business Academy. I'm excited about it and I really hope you are too. Sign up for our email list so you can stay in the loop. It's slickbusiness.co/emails, and subscribe to this channel while you're here. And if you go watch one thing after this, I want it to be the video on how to get more clicks and opens in your emails, because whichever of those many platforms you are using, the thing you need to be doing right now is encouraging people to click in your emails. I don't even care if you understand why or not. I just want you to go do it. So go watch my video about how to boost your clicks. That will boost your opens in turn. That's going to make your email marketing better, whichever platform you're on. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.